Oh, we have a game. Game 1. Enter. This game will cost me 10 credits to play. Pick a number between 1 and 20. I pick 10. Enter. Oh, I didn't win. Would I like to play again? Of course, I want to get my credit. Now I pick 5. Sorry, you didn't win. Do I want to play again? No. Game 2. Enter. This game will generate 16 random numbers. If there are no matches, I win. Okay, I want to gamble 10 of my credits. Enter. There's a match between 72 and 72. I lost. Do I want to play again? Of course, yes. I want to redeem myself. Enter. How many? This time I want to gamble 30 of my credits. Enter. Oh, I lost. I don't want to play again. N. Game 3. So this is a card game, and after choosing the card, the queen will be revealed, and I also get a chance to choose again. How many credits? 10 of my credits I want to wager or gamble. Enter. As you choose one card out of 3. Interesting. I pick card 1. Enter. Would I like to increase or change my card? Maybe I want to change. See, I have won. Now I have 50 credits, and it's pointing to the card I changed to. Do I like to play again? No. The flowchart of this program is intuitive. Immediately the program starts, it tries to retrieve the player's data. If it is not able to find the data, it assumes that it's a new user and register this new user and give it all the default values. So after registering, it gets the data. Now it's able to go ahead and show the menu options. This game comes with 7 menu options. Option 1, 2, 3 are the games that you can play. Option 4 right here allows you to see the highest recorded score so far. Option 5 gives you the opportunity to change the username, and 6 allows you to reset the account to default. Now if you want to quit the game, you can go ahead and select option 7 and the program will end. Now one peculiar thing is, after playing each game, that is 1, 2, 3, you can play again by selecting yes, but if you choose no, the program will take you back to the menu options where you'll be presented with these 7 options, and it starts all over again. The only time that you get out of this game loop is either you choose not to play again by selecting 7. Even when your credit is finished, you can select option 6 to reset your account, get new values, and proceed with the game. Okay, go ahead and open your favorite IDE, create any directory. I've created a directory and I've called it Game of Chance. You can name it whatever you like. So inside here, I will create a file and name it main.c. And also, I want you to create another file and call it hacking.h. Alright, we come back to that soon. But go into your main.c file and let's include some inbuilt function. Let's include the header file that we created because it is in our working space. Let us also include the stdlib. Once we have that, we can write our main and return 0. Okay, with this game we'll be writing and reading from file, so we will create the data file. So we can define data file, or maybe sometimes we can call it data path, and we want to put it in the tmp directory, and we can call this chance.data. This will be the path where we will read and write. Now we will need to store the information of every player or user on this game, right? So we will, let's write a comment, define structure for player / user. So let's write struct and call it user, and inside of this struct we will make way for the user identification. We will also store the credit. You know, when you play games, you tend to have credit or money in some sense. We will create a variable to store his score. We need to save the name of whoever is playing. We can make this a character of 100 bytes. Now let us also create a function pointer, and this function pointer at any point will store the current game the user wants to play. So after playing a particular game, you want to change to a different game, it will assign this function pointer to the game you want to play. And you know, we just write current game, and as we define function pointers, we do this. Every player in this game is going to have these attributes. We can decide to add extra attributes like the level, right? Don't forget to bring your semicolon. All right. Now, after defining a structure for a user, we'll go ahead and define all the function prototypes, which we call forward declaration. First, we will start by getting player data, as we stated in the flowchart. Immediately the program starts, it tries to retrieve the data. Another function that we need is we register a new player in case we are not able to retrieve the data. Now, the next function will be to show high score. Okay. The next will be jackpot. This jackpot function will be called when the user wins a particular game. A function to get the user's name. This function particularly will be called during user registration, right? A function to print our cards. So whenever you want to print a card, you give the message to it and you give a pointer to the cards that you want to print, and also we provide it with an integer. After the print cards function, we need to create this function, take wager. Now, this wager is interesting. It will be used in multiple games. So for example, if you are playing a game that you need to use some of your credits, we call this function. Let's say that you are playing Find the Ace game and you want to wager about 10 of your credits, right? So it goes to this function, and this function makes sure that the total number of credits that you want to wager or deal or gamble with is less than the credit that you have. You cannot have a total credit of, let's say, 20 and you want to wager 50 credits. We will define this function, play the game. Now let us define dealer no match game. We will define find the ace game here, and we will also call this function whenever an error occurs, right? We can pass it to this function, and actually we will define this function in the hacking.h header file. After this, we can just show all users. This function is more for an administrator, but I've put it in here in order to show you how you can read all the users inside the file and you print it to the console. We also need to put a function to update player data, right? Yeah, I think it's important. You are playing a game and you win, we need to update your records. We also have the pick the number game. We need to write it here. Pick number game. Okay, take wager, play the game, dealer no match, pick the number game, find ace, fatal for printing any error that we face, and show all users. Finally, what we can do is, because we've already defined a structure for a player, we can come down here and define a global variable, right? We call it player. So we can come here, struct user player, so that wherever you are in the code, you'll be able to access this player. We can go ahead and dive into the application logic, but before that, I want to say that if you are liking these videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and like the videos. My goal this year is to get about 1,000 subscribers, so let's do this. Now, this is what we are going to do. We are going to use random numbers, so because of that, we need to call the seed function and pass time into it, right? But first of all, I want us to create a variable called choice. This is a game of chances, so we have some choices, and also we will create a variable to hold last game. And the reason is, after playing a game and we want to play again, right, we wouldn't go to the options. After every game, we save it to the last game, so if you want to play, we just go ahead and play it. We can go ahead and call the srand and pass the time into it to seed our randomizer. Now, if we look at our flowchart, the program starts and it tries to retrieve the player data, right? Okay, so let me go back to my IDE, write a comment like retrieve player data. And if it's not able to retrieve the player data, it registers it because it assumes it's a new user, right? So we'll call this, we'll try to get the player data, right? Let's make an if statement, get the player data. Now if it returns -1, it means it didn't get the user who logged in. So now we need to register the new player. We write register new player. This part will ensure that either we get the user's data or we register new user. All right, once we are done with this part, we can go ahead and show the options just as we have in our flowchart. Okay, once we are done with this part, we go to the menu, and because this is C program, we are just going to do some printf. Let us do a while loop, and in this while loop we are going to make sure our choice is not equal to 7. And why is that? The reason is, when we look at our flowchart, we said that if you want to create the program, you click 7. Yeah, so as long as the choice is not 7, we can go ahead and play. The game start, we either retrieve the user data or we register this new user. After doing that, we present him with these options. Then the next logical thing is that we will have to scan whatever the user will choose. Now we get the choice right here. Once we have the choice, it means we can use some if statement to define what the user wants to do. We can do if statement, and let's go back to the flowchart. You can see according to the flowchart, 1, 2, 3 are games. We can just make an if statement within this range that obviously if the user chooses 0, then 0 is out of this, right? So if the choice is less than 0 or the choice is greater than 7, okay, then it's out of this game. We are not going to handle it. We can say if choice is less than 1. I know some people try to choose 0, or choice is greater than 7. You can show him the number is an invalid option number. Okay, else if the user chooses 1, 2, 3, then he's going to play a game, right? Depending on the choice that he gets, we will set this current game that we created, we will set it to the game that the user wants to play. We can also check something to make sure that the choice the user made is not equal to the last game, this last game, right? If it is equal, we don't have to come through the if statement. We can just go ahead and play it again. Okay, so if number is not equal to last game, then we can now see if choice, let's say, is equal to 1, right? Now if it's equal to 1, you can set the function pointer, right? This one. So we call player dot current game, right? And you can set it to pick the number, right? How did we define it? Pick the number. Okay, let's make it pick a number. It sounds better. Else, if the choice is equal to 2, then the user wants to play the second game. We set the current game to no match game. So we can say else, then we just assign player.current game, and now the last game that we have is find the ace, right? If the choice is not equal to last game, we always need to keep a tab of the last game being set. So last game is equal to the choice. Now we come out of this loop and we will just call play the game. Okay, so these are the game options that the user has, 1, 2, and 3. So after choosing a particular game, we set the last game to the choice that he made so that we remember next time. Then we will play the game. This else if statement was if the choice is less than 4. So we can also write here else if choice is equal to 4. And according to our flow diagram, 4 is to view current high score, right? So here we can show the high score. Else if choice is equal to 5 is equal to, make sure you correct that to equals. Yeah, correct this to equals. Okay, else if choice is equal to 5, and with 5 we are changing the username, input name. Let's put this in a curly bracket and yeah, bring this inside. Let us print change username, right? That would be cool. Your name has been changed. Yeah, that looks better. Choice 6 is to reset the account, right? Else if choice is equal to 6, you can say as your account has been reset, right, by credits. Reset the user's credit by 100, right? Now if you don't know this credit, we already created a structure for every player. This is the structure, and one of the variables or one of the parameters that it contains is the credit, right? It contains this credit. Okay, so now we've defined a global player here. So every player has all these characteristics, right? And this is a method. So every player has these characteristics. So when we come here, we are just resetting the credit. For example, if the user played and all his credits is finished and he wants to still play again, he can do that. Okay, so now we come here and we reset the credit, and basically this should be all for our application logic. The next step is for us to write and define all the functions that we have, all the functions over here. So I would like to start with, go to the hacking.h file that you created. We will create the function to print any error, a function to display error message. Basically that is what it's supposed to do. Now we have already, if you go to the main.c, you can see we call the filter here. That is the function. You can copy it and yeah, go back and paste it. That should be fine. And let's give it a body. Okay, so inside this we'll create an error message of 100 bytes, and we can use the string copy function. We need to give the parameter a name. Let's call this message, error message, a fatal error occurred, right? Once we've added that to this array, then we can also go ahead and we use the string cut to join the error message and the message that we passed to that function. We assign the next 83 bytes to the incoming message. We concatenate it to the string. After that, we will call the inbuilt to print the error, and we have our error message. And last but not least, because it's a fatal error, we would like to exit. Basically that is all that we have in the hacking.h header file. Let's go back to our main.c. The first function we have here is the get player data. The get player is going to read the file. How is it going to read the file? We already created a data path right here, data file. So we are going to create a file descriptor and use the file descriptor to open the data file and give it some privileges.